Hey there, I'm Jeff with CreditCards.com. Today we're talking about credit cards for people with no credit or very limited credit history. And I'm sure if you're in this situation, it feels like there are no credit cards out there for you. But that's not necessarily true. There are a bunch of different types of credit cards that are designed for people with no credit or a very thin credit profile. There are secured credit cards, there are certain types of unsecured credit cards, there are student credit cards, and even co-branded retail credit cards. But probably the easiest way to get a credit card if you have no credit is a secured credit card. And these are cards that require a refundable deposit up front. And then usually your credit limit for the card matches that refundable deposit. And I know it's kind of off-putting to think about a deposit required with a credit card. It's really not complicated. There are a lot of reputable companies out there that offer secured credit cards. In fact, I have a very close friend of mine that has a secured credit card. He's had it for several months now. He's been very happy with it. So that can be kind of step one in getting a credit card if you have no credit. And also keep in mind that if you do get a credit card, whether it's a secured card or otherwise, you want to be mindful of several things, but one thing in particular is your credit limit. So with a secured credit card, it might be $200 for your refundable deposit, and then your credit limit is $200. You want to make sure that you do not get in the habit of getting close to that credit limit, because the closer you get to your credit limit, the more risky you appear to borrowers and to the credit card companies. And so you want to make sure that when you're spending on your credit card, you're paying it off immediately. And if you can, you want to try and increase your credit limit over time, because there's something in your credit score, a factor of your credit score, that's called credit utilization. And credit utilization is how much credit you're using or how much debt you currently have divided by how much credit you have access to. So if you only have this one credit card, it is the current balance on the card divided by the credit limit on that card. So if you can, you want to try and get that credit limit increased over time. And that applies to all credit cards, not just secured credit cards. Now, there are also unsecured credit cards out there. Those are cards that do not require a refundable deposit, but they will typically be a little bit more selective with who they accept, only because they don't require the deposit. Now, there is kind of a subset of unsecured credit cards, and those are student credit cards. So if you're a student, great way to get a credit card is to get one of these, because usually the credit requirements are lower, and they might even factor in other alternative data to see whether or not they want to approve you for that credit card. We have a full guide on our website that goes over the best credit cards for students. If you're a student, you might want to check that out. If you're on YouTube, I can link that in the video description. If you're on our website, that's pretty easy to find. Now, the other option is a co-branded card, sometimes called a retail card or a store credit card. These are usually cards from a business. So from a grocery store or department store, they've partnered with a bank or issuer to make their credit card. And typically the credit requirements are a little bit more lax. Usually they only require fair credit, but sometimes even a little bit less than that. And so you can apply for these to see if you can get a credit card. It's probably not the first place I would start. If you had fair credit, I'd say that's a decent place to start, but they can be sort of lower hanging fruit if you need a credit card. The only thing to keep in mind is usually the rewards are pretty measly and the interest rates are really high on these co-branded credit cards. Now, before you apply for any credit card, there are a few things you're going to want to do. The first thing is get a copy of your credit report and also check up on your credit score. And we have guides on how to do this on our website, but I'll go over them pretty quickly. For your credit report, this is the information that's fed into your credit score. So you want to make sure everything is accurate on this and that you don't see any errors. My wife actually pulled her credit report one time and saw errors. We've gotten it cleaned up, but you want to make sure there are no errors on your credit report, because that will show up on your credit score. And to get your credit report, you go to annualcreditreport.com. It's the only site that's authorized by federal law. And you can get one free copy per year per major credit bureau. So one from TransUnion, one from Equifax, and one from Experian per year. And you want to just go down that credit report and make sure everything is accurate. And then as far as checking up on your credit score, there are a lot of major credit card companies that offer free credit monitoring services. If you already have a credit card, you might want to see if they offer it. If they don't, or if you don't already have a credit card, there are other non-issuer services out there. And we've got a full guide on our website about some of these free credit monitoring services. So I'll put that in the video description, or if you're on our site, you can also search for that. So that's just a quick overview of things you should be thinking about if you have no credit or very limited credit history. I think, for a lot of people out there, probably the best place to start is just a secured credit card. But that's it. Have a great day.